Good evening. Welcome to the basement here on this Saturday night stream. What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Got a little bit of stuff to talk about. Some DC, some Marvel. Shocker. Marvel. We're going to talk Marvel tonight a little bit. I know. It's mind-blowing that we'd be talking about such a subject that rarely comes up. Anywho. So we got some news. Not a ton, but some. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna have fun with it, and of course, we're gonna get nerdy with it. Speaking of getting nerdy, fill your cup and light your smoke, because it is that time once again to get nerdy. Welcome, one and all, back to the basement. It's Saturday, and here we be, getting ready to talk that nerdy stuff. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Let me get this thing up. No. I'm going to try something. Chat, just bear with me. Let's do this one instead. That one's painful. There we go. Yeah, it's Mo Better. What's up? What's up? We got Brooke and Spicy Dan in here so far. At least in the live part of the chat. Maybe a lurker or two. Welcome, everybody. Of course, obviously, I would love everyone to participate in the chat because that's engagement. And YouTube would be like, oh, hey, people think this dude's worth typing at. Let's show him to more people. That's the ultimate goal, of course. But, if you got something going on and just want to listen, totally respect that. Totally respect that. Just hit the fucking like button is all I ask. Just do, well, actually, that's not quite all I ask. If you're new, also please hit the subscribe and the bell. Just quick 3 little clicks or taps, whatever works for you. Just done. Super simple. And if you're looking at the chat, you will see my Discord link all up in there too. Fucking Streamlabs hates me. Anyway. So, what's happening with y'all? Brooke's been playing Doom 2016. That sounds like fun, except for that involves finding stuff and opening doors from a distance and finding your way back, all of which I suck at, which is why I don't play Doom or Tomb Raider or anything like that. And I know exactly why I suck at those games too. You know those people that are just like, you can blindfold spin around in the woods and take the blindfold off and they can look around for 2 seconds and tell you what direction they're facing? I am not that guy. I am not even close to that guy. I am the opposite of people who can carry a map in their head. I need landmarks. I need to basically know where the fuck I'm at all times in order to gauge where I need to be. And those games, you need to be the other kind of person. There we go. Basically. That's all that was. Anywho. But yeah, so that is worst case, you can always switch to lowest difficulty. See, for game Brooke, even for games like that, even on the lowest difficulty, it don't matter. I get lost. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I just end up running around in circles. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah. So I don't play Doom or Tomb Raider or anything like that. Well, I barely play games. Let's be honest. I'm not a gamer. I'll throw on my baseball game or my football game every once in a while. Or I mean, I did just get when I was off of work recovering from my procedure. PlayStation was having a sale, so I got actually Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11 and Legendary Injustice 2, the pair of them, for $11. So I've done the story modes on those on like the infant setting because I also am horrible at fighting games. Like I'm in the tutorial and it's showing you how the timing and how fast to hit the buttons in what order, and I'm just like, I can't even move my thumb that fast. I just can't do it. So I get my ass beat at those too. Yeah. Oh, you did go see the new Mortal Kombat movie? I'm gonna. Hopefully next weekend. Ain't happening this Mother's Day weekend, baby. So, by the way, if you're happen to be watching and you are also Ellen, what up? If you're a mother and you happen to be watching, Happy Mother's Day. And if you have a mother in your life, pass along my Happy Mother's Day wishes to them, please. Thank you. That's to always respect the mothers in your life, even if they're not yours. They have gone through the pain, the agony of childbirth. And as long as they're treating their kid right, let's be honest, there's some bitches out there that suck at being a mom. For the good ones, we celebrate them. Yes, we do. So be good to the mothers in your lives tomorrow and pass along my wishes for a happy Mother's Day to them. Yeah. Are you guys doing Mother's Day stuff tomorrow? Obviously I am. I'm married to a mother. My stepdaughter's a mother. Obviously my mother-in-law's a mother. My own mother gone, but which sucks. Oh yay. She's welcome. Obviously that sucks ass, but you know. So you guys having a good weekend so far? Do you have a good end of your week? As last we saw each other was Wednesday. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do about Spider Noir chat because who was it? I can't remember. Someone reminded me one of these last couple streams that bitch drops all at once, and I don't know why. I just thought it was gonna be weekly. Yeah. So I don't know. Oh, yep. Yep. All 8 episodes at once. Yeah, we'll have to figure out if we want to. It's a lot easier to do weekly watch parties when the shit's dropping weekly. If it's all out there all at once, trying to do a weekly watch party is going to involve executing a lot of willpower on all our parts, and I don't know if we want to do that. I mean, I'm sure, we're all fairly strong people, I'm sure, and if we really wanted to, we could. I have no doubt about our ability to do it. It's just our desire to do it, especially mine, is in question. So we'll talk about that, but that doesn't drop till the 27th, so we got a couple weeks to figure out how we want to handle that shiz. So if we end up not doing watch parties for that, which I'm thinking that's how it's going to end up going. But if we end up not doing watch parties for that, that means after the 20th, we won't be having any watch parties till like June. So we'll actually have news on Wednesday for like 3 or 4 weeks or so. Invincible's already done. Daredevil's done. Maul's done. We get Punisher next Tuesday, so we'll have one more Tuesday. And then we'll have The Boys' last 2 episodes next Wednesday and then the following. And then after that, not until something else drops, chat. I think. Give me a second. I swear I kept the list. I bookmarked the list. It'll be way down here. You want to hear something fucked up, chat? I accidentally deleted my Sydney Sweeney pee-pee scene, and I had to go find that bitch again. It took me a minute. Okay. All right, so let's check out this here list and see where we're at. That's a movie. Lanterns is August. Movie. Spider Noir is the 27th of this month. Vision Quest this fall is all they say. Boys, we only have 2 episodes left. Invincible, done. Wonder Man, don't fucking care. X-Men 97 Season 2, pretty sure that's going to be summer. Punisher special is in 3 days. Movie, Born Again Season 2, done. Game, movie, show we don't watch together, and not sure when that's coming out. So we have one. We're going to count the special because it, like, in total watch parties, even though the Punisher special is just a one-time thing. So we got one. You don't watch that. Have any of you ever watched My Adventures with Superman? I've never watched it. I've heard it's good, though. That one's done. 2, 3, 4. Oh, still 5 shows left to watch. Really? 1. That one's ongoing, so I'm not going to count that. 1, 2, 3. The special technically is a watch party. 4, 5. Okay, so now Spider Noir will be 2 weeks from Wednesday. Vision Quest is probably the fall. Almost done, don't care. We've been speculating that this will be late June, early July because of the fact it comes out at that, it premieres at Cannes or someplace. This is just a one-time shot in 3 days. So 3 days, 3 weeks, 2.5 months. And then months, because we don't know when. So we got a few things left to watch, but like I said, we have months for that. That'll be done in 2 weeks, and then that'll be out. And we're probably not doing a watch party for Spider Noir, but we'll see. Or watch parties. So potential, almost over. Over. Late June, early July, probably. Don't know for sure. 3 days from now. Over. And then sometime later this year. Okay. Q. Q. See what happens now. Whoopsie, what the fuck? Hey, did that come out as an exclamation point or is that just a 1? Nope, it did. And I lost. Oh, again. Oh well. C'est la vie. Are you guys got anything interesting you want to share, or shall we get into it? Like I said, not a lot tonight. I mean, you guys could send me on digressions and, lengthen the stream that way, but in terms of having a shit ton of news to talk about, not this time. Although I think a couple of the ones we'll be able to get a little in depth with. I do believe. This is a very affordable brand, but it's also a pain in the ass. All right. Interesting. So, you guys remember? You remember how Stranger Things put their series finale in the theaters, and it actually did okay, as I recall. I don't remember for sure, but I think it did aight. I don't know if it made fuck tons, but it did aight. Well, as usually, and this is why I'm going to say it did aight, because as usually happens in Hollywood when an idea does at least decently, other studios be hopping on board that shit. Well, guess what, folks? Prime is doing that with The Boys. The series finale for The Boys will be screening in theaters. Except, unlike the Stranger Things, which I think went the whole weekend, this one, you get one shot, May 19th at 9:35 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, basically, that means 10:35 p.m. Eastern, 7:35 p.m. Pacific, 8:35 p.m. Mountain. We'll have a runtime of 1 hour and 3 minutes, only available here in the States. And then, of course, the episode releases on Prime 3 hours later, like it normally does. Actually, no, that's a little earlier, because normally it releases at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. So this will be releasing at 10:35 Pacific, 1:35 Eastern. I'm still not fucking staying up. I'm not staying up to watch it. We'll watch it together. But yeah. What do you guys think? Good idea? Bad idea? Would you go if you could? I would not. I'm not going to spend my money to go sit in a theater for an hour for a fucking TV show finale. I don't care how much I like the show. I wouldn't have done it for Stranger Things. I'm not doing it for The Boys. What about you guys? How do you feel about The Boys jumping on the Stranger Things or following the suit, copying Stranger Things, as it were? Or, they would probably say it as paying an homage or honoring their accomplishment or, some bullshit like that. What do you guys think? Pretty hype for The Boys finale? I mean, they're gonna have to fucking come correct these last two episodes. They are gonna have to come correct these last two episodes. For sure. Is this last one? Just aight. They're gonna have to bring the noise, not just in the finale. They need to bring the noise in episode 7 as well. Yeah. What do you guys think? Would you go to the theater for that shit or nah? Think it's gonna do as well as Stranger Things? in the theater? Hmm? How did $20 to $28 million. Yeah, so what do you mean concession? Tickets were not sold at traditional prices. Instead, exhibitors offered food and beverage vouchers. Fans want to watch the theater? Okay. Oh, so I get it. Okay. So people were still giving the theater money. Just they got to walk in, grab their food and beverage using the voucher, no ticket price. But the vouchers were like $20 at AMC. So yeah, basically you got half off by not having to pay for the food. Yeah, so it's still either way. They generated 20 to 28 million. Now, was that in there for the whole weekend? I'm doing a little more research, chat. Bear with me. Was it in for the weekend or just one night? Oh, why can't stuff just have the details I want right away? Stranger Things finale in Buzz. All right, this way. Because it just wants to give me the fucking runtime. How many days was these? 2-day run. Okay. All right. So Stranger Things. Thank you. Finally, internet, you bitch. Okay, cool. All right. So Stranger Things was in there. Spicy Dan was in theaters for 2 days. The Boys finale is only going to be in there for one. So if you want to do apples to apples, if The Boys makes more than $14 million in one day, it would have been on pace to beat the Stranger Things finale. Because, like the article said, Stranger Things finale made 20 to 28 million in the theater. We'll go with the big end just to be on the safe side. We'll say it did 28 for a 2-day spread. This is only getting one, so that means half of 28 is 14. So if The Boys in its one day does more than 14 million, I personally would go ahead and say it did better than Stranger Things finale because it beat the average. or beat an even split because it's only going to be in there for half the time. That'll be interesting to see how that goes, yo. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm obsessed with gambling in my own chat. And of course, I lose again. Anywho, you guys got any thoughts on The Boys series finale? Pulling a Stranger Things and going into theaters, except only for one day instead of two. Yeah, they've been there for a minute. Oh yeah, Mrs. Chillin just made some brown butter chocolate chip cookies for us to take to our Mother's Day dinner, family dinner tomorrow. Be jealous, chat. That's all I got to say. Be very jealous that I have access to those motherfuckers and you don't. Matter of fact, to that fact, I say, oh, I get them. I get the delicious brown butter chocolate chip cookies made by my wife, who can fucking cook and bake well, very, very well, and you don't. Yes, in so many ways, so very many ways. That reminds me, I gotta do something. Okay. Ah. Oh, okay. That yours? Ah, we're being sponsored. Excellent. I'd like to thank our sponsor. Yes, I'm sure she'll be very pleased with whatever she gets herself via us. Yeah, we'll have to pick out something very, very cool. And that's also hopefully on sale. So she'll be like, oh, this is so nice. And then she'll look at the statement and be like, oh, that's not too bad. You know what I mean? Oh, I know you will. Your shopping skills are on a level with your food production skills, which are on a level with other skills like wisdom and intelligence. Yeah, I talk to my wife in midstream. I don't fucking care. That's right, chat. I do that. If you're new, it happens. I also sometimes have to get up, and go deal with cat issues occasionally because, cats are cute and they're soft and they're fuzzy, but, if there's more than one in the house, they sometimes get into some shit. So sometimes I have to go deal with that too, midstream. Cats are assholes. They're also toddlers. They operate on about the same wavelength. Very little sense of danger to themselves. Always getting into shit they're not fucking supposed to. Running around crazy. Like switch modes on a dime. Yeah, cats are fucking toddlers. When they're in the mood for attention, they will let you know. Yeah, cats are toddlers. Toddlers are cats. Take your pick. They're the same. In many, many ways. Anywho. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on from The Boys finale being in the movie theater. Excuse me. All right, chat. Any fans of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show? I am a big fan of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. It did end on a bit of a weird note. Wasn't the best ending to the show itself when it ended. Not the best. But I still really liked the show. Phil Coulson is the bomb as a character. They had some good characters in that show. Coulson, Daisy, Fitzsimmons, the Robbie Reyes version of fucking Ghost Rider that they had in there for a hot minute. Good show. Really, really good show. I enjoyed it. It catches some shit. What is that? What do you mean, what is it? Spicy Dan? So I very much enjoyed it. And it did actually tie itself into the active MCU at the time, canonically. Like, I believe it was the season 1 finale was they tied directly into Winter Soldier. I think it was at some point in season 2 or 3, like, they showed them cleaning up in the aftermath of fucking Thor 2. Why can't I remember the Thor the Dark World? The Dark World, yeah. Like the aftermath of the battle in England with the Dark Elves, they dealt with that. After that, they like veered off into their own shit. But first couple 3 seasons, they were tying themselves into the main universe. So, yeah, I enjoyed the show, and I've long been an advocate of it becoming regular MCU canon. Although one of the biggest impediments to that actually happening is having the Inhumans playing such a large part of that show, and them being outside of Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, not in the MCU at all. And even then they didn't address like what he is. He was just, there's Black Bolt. He'll kill you by whispering at you. What mouth? Anyway, but yeah, so we didn't get very much of Black Bolt, and what he is, where his powers come from or whatever, is completely not addressed at all. It's just comic book character. Done. So that's, the Inhumans are the biggest impediment to it becoming like regular MCU canon, and instead just a an alternate universe from the 616, which has very similar events but also different, as multiverses tend to have. So, but anywho, a bit of everything. That's the YouTube. That's the person that runs the YouTube channel. Is there a yellow or gray bolt? I don't know. Maybe an ancestor of his, because what's his name? Blackguard Boltison or some wax like Scandinavian knockoff fucking name. Yellow Guard Boltison or Gray Guard Boltison. But anyway, so a bit of everything. That's the dude that came up with that fucking 2.5 hour multiverse video explaining all the shit. That dope ass video, or 2 hour one, however long it was. It was a little over 2, I think. Anyway, so this dude's heavy into Marvel, heavy into theories, heavy into finding connections and shit. So he posted a bit of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. copium the other day, so check this mess out. Clever reference to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the finale of Born Again. The Cybertech Settles front page references a key storyline from the show. Front page appeared in Netflix 2x9. So this is from when Daredevil was still on Netflix, and now in the finale, which you can't really see up there. It is. Can't really see it. Nowhere near as well as we can in this. But either way, so, and then he says the slow walk to confirmation that the show is canon to the sacred timeline. And odds are highly no. Very highly no. But if you've watched the show, the Cybertech Settles refers to the centipede thing and the creation of Deathlock, I believe. If I recall correctly, I think that's what it is. And Deathlock in that show, played by the homie from Angel. I believe his name was Charles. What was the black dude in Angel's name, babe? She's in the can. Anywho, so yeah, massive cope. 99% chance that it's not going to be canon to the mainline MCU. But I love the show, and I will grab any cope I can have, and there it is. There's my cope. That there's still a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. I'm grabbing onto that, holding it tightly. So if any of you are AO Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans, there's some cope for you. Hey, love. What was the black guy's name? Like the character. Gun, yes. a good gun, as opposed to James. Anyway, yeah. What was it? Charles Gunn. Is that it? I feel like that. All I could remember, and I wasn't sure, was the Charles part. You're like whipping out the whole name. I love you so much. Yeah, the homie that played Charles Gunn was Deathlock in first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he came back a few other times, too. Yeah. Massive cope if you're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. The answer is always no. I killed Stink Monkey. No, I mean like here. You're right. Excuse me. All right. All right. So this is going to be interesting to see how they handle this. According to IGN, Marvel has promised it won't undo the biggest twist in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 finale. All right. So if you have not watched the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 finale, we're about to discuss some spoilers. So when we're done with the spoilers for Daredevil, and it's going to be a while because there's another Daredevil thing I think I want to talk about too. Where'd it go? I know I had it. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not really a spoiler. Okay. So, we're about to get into some season 2 finale spoilers. So, if you do not want to be spoiled, then mute it, go do something else, and come back. If you're on the replay, pause and fast forward. Here's the signal that we are done with the spoiler part. I'll be like, we're done. So, when you see me do this, you can unmute, stop fast forwarding, however you want to handle skipping the spoilery part. But I will give you another few seconds to click away, and then I'm getting into this shit. All right, so spoil us like the turd that can't flush. I hate those. All right, so Marvel's promised it won't undo the biggest twist in Daredevil Born Again season 2 finale. Spoilers. Said twist is him revealing himself to be Daredevil in the middle of the courtroom. That's the big twist from the finale. And Marvel has promised it's not going to undo it. Okay. They can make that work for a minute. But I honestly don't know. Like there's gonna have to come a time where they undo it. Like Matt Murdock is not gonna be able to function if everyone knows he's fucking Daredevil. Like he's just not. Right, exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see how long they hang on to that because there's just no way they're not going to undo it eventually. It's literally impossible for the functionality of the character long term. Like if they're going to, the knowledge is going to have to go away somehow at some point. So that's not a promise they're going to be able to keep long term. At least I don't see a way. Will they be able to keep that promise for season 3? Sure. Probably. If they're going to do more seasons in season 3, probably not. If he's going to start appearing in movies, probably not. So, yeah. Let me click on that. See if Sorry, start a funny, discuss the Pokemon Plus, these never blah, no opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Required approval from the highest levels of the mark. Okay, so Feige or somebody damn close to his level approved it. I think there's some lag between the decision being pitched by Chill's Arizona being approved. Decision that sounds like it went all the way up to Feige and Louis Desposito. Show how it plays out. No spoilers are told after blah blah blah. Okay, so all right. So here's some relevant quotes from the IGN article. So he says, but we're probably not going to be doing Purple Man doing mass brainwashing of an entire city to buy it back. Well, that sucks because I want David Tennant back as fucking Purple Man. Anyway, Scartapani said, referencing the 2017 comic book run in which Kilgrave resets Matt Murdock's big reveal. We're not doing buybacks. If you're taking that step, now everyone in the city knows Matt is Daredevil, which changes the storytelling in season 3 in such a cool way. So yeah, obviously it's not going to, no buybacks in season 3. Having been in and around the Netflix show, the thing everyone was talking about was how do we change things up next time, Scartapani continued. And I feel that Marvel has been really good about not reiterating. He continued. Well, people are starting to cool down on Fisk, so I don't know about all that there, Dario. Season 1 is one thing. Season 2 is another. Season 3 is another. Should have said yet another. Anyway. And the type of storytelling and where the characters are at is radically different every time. Fans are already aware of several plot points set to feature in Daredevil Born Again Season 3, thanks to various filming leaks, such as the return of more characters from the Defenders and Wilson Fisk with a beard. Several of these plot points have now been hinted at or confirmed by the Season 2 finale, such as Heather Glenn becoming Lady Muse, Luke Cage finally making an appearance, and Matt Murdock ending up behind bars. But Scartapani had a few more hits on what's to come. The redemption of Cole North, that's not done yet, Scartapani noted, referencing the former task force cop and comic book character who appears to switch sides at the end of the season. Okay, so that's the dude with his scarred up face. All right. Luke Cage is going to be a big part of Season 3, he continued. If you know these characters' history and you know some of the comic book runs, you know what's happening. We tipped our hand for Season 3 incredibly at the end of Season 2. Yeah. In other words, to me, that statement right there confirms that they're doing the Luke Cage running for mayor thing. Because when some of those sets leak or set photos leak with him in that one suit, like instantly people whipped out the comic book cover of him in 98% the exact same fucking outfit running for mayor. So I feel like yeah, I feel like that was soft confirmation that that's what we're getting next season. So far as to what Luke Cage is going to be doing, he's going to be running for mayor. Blah. Blah, 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 SEO, SEO, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay. Excuse me. So, yeah, he's saying they're not going to buy it back. Fine. But if he was being honest, he should have said not for a long time or not for a while, not for a good while, because they're not going to have a choice. At some point, he's going to need to have his secret identity back. They eventually got back around to giving it back to him in the comics via that Purple Man story he was just talking about. Now he's saying they're not going to do that. Okay, fine. But you're going to have to figure something out. Because Daredevil is not going to be able to be like Matt Murdock is not going to be able to be known as Daredevil for the entirety of the fucking MCU. Like this just oh nice one, Brooke. That's just not going to work. It's not going to be feasible. So, and it's cool that they're going to try and do it for a while. It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with. I don't know if any of you have any of you read the run he's talking about, where Daredevil's known, where his identity is known, because I haven't. But yeah, so I mean, cool. Have fun with it while it lasts, but it's not going to be able to last forever. It's just the way of it. So a little bit more on the Daredevil. A couple things actually. Jesus, look at you guys. Streamlabs just hates me. Fucking bullshit, yo. All right. So I believe this comes from Dario Scardapani. They didn't put a link to the article because they're douchebags. Sorry, Geek Vibes Nation. You guys are fun, but you need to start dropping links and not just credit. I don't feel like clicking over to their thing. Is there an article? Let me scan this real quick, chat. Okay, yep. All right. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, not that one. God damn it. All right. Anywho, Nate, what up? Forgot about the stream. Was watching Thunderbolts. Well, it's a good movie, so you're forgiven. If you were watching something lame, there'd have been an issue. You're not allowed to forget about me for something lame, but for something cool, no problem. Anyway, so according, I believe it's Dario Scartapane says we're probably and the article I looked at wasn't this exact one, but anyway, says we're probably jumping ahead a year or so, kind of like the real life distance between seasons. So basically, that means when season 3 picks up, Fisk will have been out of New York for a year, unless he snuck back in. Matt will have been in jail for a year, and whatever else happens, happens. Now, Alex Perez put out a post the other day because a lot of people have been positing that the breakout scene from Brand New Day could involve Matt getting broken out of prison by Spider-Man and therefore being in the movie despite repeated denials by Charlie Cox that he's in it. And of course, naturally, we've been conditioned to not believe a fucking thing Marvel actors say when it comes to whether they are in or not in a project. That's just the reality of the situation. So many of them have been busted in lying that we're just like, you're in it until we walk out of the theater not having seen you, is basically where a lot of Marvel fans are at when it comes to that, including myself. But in this case, I think Charlie's telling the truth. And here's why. Here's why. And this is from Alex Perez. He made a really good point here. A couple really good points. And as we know, he knows a lot about who's going to be in what, for the most part. No one's perfect, and Marvel's been getting better at sending the scoopers and insiders down false trails. Like, they're getting way better at it. However, so according to Alex, he says, I'm going to need everyone to place their expectations close to zero for anyone expecting Peter to break Matt out of prison in Brand New Day. One, this breakout's for another character, probably Jean Grey. Because as we saw in the first trailer, they had her handcuffed to a chair and shit. So, pretty sure this breakout scene's for Jean Grey. Don't know. That's just what makes the most sense to me. And two, Matt's still in prison when Daredevil Born Again Season 3 starts. So when you combine that and what Dario Scartapane was saying about the time jump, the time jump's going to cover this point period and Secret Wars. Because remember, Secret Wars is just a reset. Like, a vast majority of what's currently canon is still going to be canon after the reset. Which means, by extension, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 will still be canon after the reset. Which means Season 3 is going to take place after the reset. And obviously, this takes place before it. So, if Matt's still in jail a year later, Spidey ain't breaking his ass out. Which means he's almost guaranteed to not be in that motherfucking movie. I mean, unless Peter walks by, turns right, and be like, happens to see him. I think we can count Chart as disappointing as it is. Because who the fuck doesn't want to see Daredevil and Spider-Man, like, doing the business together? Pause. Like, we all want that shit. We all want that shit. But it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Oh, and another thing is hi, Jack. Where'd you come from, sir? Don't rub on my booze bottle and knock it over. What? If the movie takes place during Doomsday, Matt can totally be in prison still after Secret Wars. Yeah, if Peter breaks him out. Oh, true. That is true. That is an opening they could take advantage of, but I very highly doubt they're gonna. Because like Peter break him out, and then Matt would have to get caught all over again and put back in. I mean, I see where you're going with that. Like, you're essentially saying he could get broken out in Brand New Day, but then the reset will just put him back. I mean, yeah, they could do it that way, but I doubt they're going to go to all that trouble for Daredevil. Like, it doesn't make logical sense for them to diddle around with all that. It's just a lot easier for everybody, Marvel, the audience, if he's just in jail for a year while Doomsday and Secret Wars happens. And the what's her fuzz, the chief of staff is going to be mayor in Brand New Day too. Oh, I understand that, Nate. I truly do, but having Peter break him out, Doomsday and Secret Wars happens, and then beginning of Daredevil season 3, all of a sudden, poof, he's back. They're going to go through all that trouble for the major characters, like showing them to us. Like, they're not going to go through like every single character in the MCU and be like, okay, especially not the street level ones that we've only ever seen on Disney Plus. That is true, but name me one MCU project that's ever done a one-to-one from the comics. Just one. I'll wait. I'm not going to wait too long, though, because the answer is 0. They streamline, they shift, they take like 3 details and build their own story around it. Daredevil is shifting to big screen. When? There's not even been a hint of a rumor about Daredevil shifting to the big screen. There's been speculation that it could be in Brand New Day. But like that's never been even a rumor. Like him being in Brand New Day right now is pure speculation and a lot of wishful thinking. But as for actual rumory reports of Daredevil shifting to the big screen, there are, again, 0. I mean, I'm sure it will happen eventually. I'm sure it'll happen eventually, but there's 0 reports about it being anytime soon, or like, there's not even rumors of discussions of how they're going to do it or when they're going to do it. I mean, it is going to happen. I'm sure at some point, probably, hopefully, I would say right now, best bet is Spider-Man 5. Right, but they're doing that mostly in Season 3 of Daredevil Born Again. Well, this season and next season. Because Fisk is part of Devil's Reign, and Luke Cage being mayor is part of Devil's Reign, I think, as well. And they're doing that in Season 3. I mean, maybe eventually they might tie it into Spider. That's always been my hope, is that they would tie Devil. I was hoping that they would be finishing what they did at the end of Daredevil Season 2 instead of finishing it there. Like, I was hoping that would tie in to Brand New Day, but of course, Sony's not letting Fisk be on the big screen right now, so that kind of would have been pointless at that time. Marvel has full control over Luke Cage, though, so they could tie season 3 into Spider-Man 5, and that would be fine. Gonna happen sooner than we expect if we trust my time. My time's up there, but she's also had her issues. One of which is being a punk ass and blocking me, even though all my criticisms of her have been 100% legitimate, if occasionally harsh. Okay, mostly harsh, but yeah, can't stand the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen, bitch. Anyway, but yeah, don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love it. This is one of the rare occasions where I would prefer to be wrong. In that we do see Daredevil in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And that he could end up part of the breakout. But I guarantee you this. The main purpose of that breakout scene is to get Jean out of DODC's grasp. If Daredevil ends up being able to tag along, fuck yeah. But the prime focus of that breakout scene is one Jean Grey. So I doubt they're going to side quest to Daredevil, but it'd be dope if they did. So yeah, I think best chance for him to get him on the big screen, team up with Spidey is Spider-Man 5. Not this movie, not Doomsday, not Secret Wars. Daredevil season 3 after Spider-Man 5. She hasn't blocked you, but she doesn't talk to you anymore, but still follows you. Oh, that's cool. Pass along a message for me. Tell her to quit being a pansy and unblock me. Be like, hey, unblock this guy and he won't give you any more shit as long as you don't have any more dumbass takes. It's not my fault she has dumbass takes that I just have to correct her on repeatedly. Not my fault. Her fault. Dumbass. Don't be an idiot in front of me and I won't have to call you out. Just that simple. Anyway. So, more than likely, here's the more than likely case. No Matt in Brand New Day. And that timeline-wise, season 3 of Daredevil Born Again is going to take place after the reset. And probably our best chance, and this is completely speculative, like even more so than Daredevil being a Brand New Day, is that the best chance for Daredevil making his splash on the big screen, which, by the way, I don't think should happen in a solo Daredevil. The show's not performing anywhere near well enough. He needs to be introduced on the big screen with Spider-Man. Or big name somebody. Like, they got to introduce him in... Actually, this goes for all the Defenders. To bring them back in the MCU, they need to do it in a big name feature. Like, if they want to put them on the big screen, it can't be like in a Daredevil movie or a Jessica Jones movie or a Luke Cage movie or even an Iron Fist movie. Not a Heroes for Hire movie and not a Defenders movie. Needs to be in a Spider-Man movie. Needs to be in an X-Men movie. Needs to be in an Avengers movie. In a Daredevil's case, it should probably be in Spider-Man 5. So, anywho, just saying odds are against it, yo. That's all I'm saying. Odds are highly against it. I'll do this one next. And we'll do this one next. Sorry, I thought I was going to go in some kind of order, and then I decided to go in a different kind of order, so here we go. One thing real quick before we get into this next one. Excuse me. That's that. Gamble real quick before we get into the next one. Ooh, look at that. I rolled a 99. There you go. There you go, buddy. You good? I gotta greet my cat since he hopped up here. That'd be boy. Okay, you gotta leave me access to my mouse though. I need to be. I have to click things, so you need to back up just a bit. I give you space. No, stay off my mouse, man. Come on. I need you to cooperate a little bit. I love you very much. You're cute and you're adorable and you're big and you're fuzzy. But when you're on Daddy's desk, I need your cooperation. Yes, hello. Oh, I give you love. Like I said, cats, toddlers, when they want the attention, they're going to get the fucking attention. There you go. Lay down. Good boy. Catch my big boy. Good job. All right. Next item of business. All right. So this comes from an account called This comes from an account called Doom Servant. They get retweeted a lot by reliable people, so they do okay. I'd call them a mid-tier scooper / insider. There, I guess we're like that now. You good? All right. Anywho, so and he's all caps Ruma. I'm hearing the current cut of the second Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer includes more shots of Sadie Sink, including a face reveal shot, which could be that image of her, that image of her and Frank that was going around for a while that got DMCA'd to all hell. And the only way you see it is if you know someone that downloaded it before it got fucking sniped. So I'm guessing that's the shot. Not necessarily, but I'll bet it is. Our first look at Tombstone, yeah, because we didn't see him for shit in that first trailer, and more Scorpion footage, which is also cool because we only saw him a little in that first trailer. So, if this rumor's accurate, like not humongous news, all that makes sense. Revealing Sadie, at least her existence. Probably still won't be calling her Jean Grey, though. Right? We'll just be like, oh, hey, there's that redhead in the movie. And most of us will be like, hey, there's Jean Grey. And then other people will still think it's not. And be like, oh, hey, there's her. I think she's this. But she's Jean. It's good that we'll get a look at Tombstone finally. Honestly, I'm a little surprised they didn't show him in the first trailer, but whatever. We'll see him. That'll be cool. And more Scorpion footage is always good because Scorpion's fun. So, like I said, nothing groundbreaking in that one, but, just cool little tidbits. Again, it's a rumor. But yeah. All right. What Marvel-y goodness. We're going to do all the Marvel at once, and then we're going to finish with the DC. Because y'all know me, I like to do the thumbnail shit at the end. Oh, damn, there's another one. Go get it, buddy. Another one just died, bombed down. towards the ground. Malice is on it, though. Regulate. Bug got in. What up, Sanoff? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Sorry. I have to kill bugs when they appear. It's the law. Sorry for the interruption. The bug had to die. All right. Let's see. What makes sense to do next? All right. So here's an interesting one. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I should feel about this one, but check this shit out, chat. It's a weird one. I don't know why Joe Russo even brought this up. But Joe Russo says Peter Parker wasn't responsible for Uncle Ben's death in the MCU. If he blamed himself for his Uncle Ben's death, I think he becomes a very different character. That would have been a different interpretation, a more intense interpretation of the character. Okay, Joe. Interesting choice. I mean, they did talk about Uncle Ben being gone, but they never addressed, the usual Spider-Man canon that we all know, which is he gets powers, gets an opportunity to stop a criminal, doesn't. Said criminal stops Uncle Ben. Yeah, that's what we're used to. But evidently, Tom Holland is Spidey. That didn't happen. Uncle Ben died. Don't know of what. But it was not of a gunshot from a thief that Peter decided not to do anything about. What did I think of the last Born Again episode? I thought it was lit. Life in IT insecticide. Okay. When did they talk about Ben being gone? Civil War. They just never said how or why. No, I'm pretty sure they did in Civil War. I could be wrong, though. I haven't watched that in a minute, but I'm pretty sure they did in Civil War. Well, maybe they did keep it even more vague than that. I gotta go rewatch Civil War now, just for that shit. You could have left May. You just watched Civil War the other day. Okay. Yeah, I guess he could still be alive. I don't know. I mean, leaving Aunt May doesn't make much sense, though. I mean, it's fucking Marissa Tomei. It's Aunt Tomei. It's hot Aunt May. I'm pretty sure his actual name is mentioned. At least once. You know what? Now I gotta Google that shit. Uncle Ben. Ben? Correct me. All right, co-pilot. Oh, no. Oh, Peter referenced in losing an uncle. Okay, so he's referenced losing an uncle. They never said his name. They provide some examples. Oh, in No Way Home? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's literally on this list of references. Far From Home, Peter's suitcase bears the initials BFR, Ben Franklin Parker, a nod to his uncle. So, kind of Easter eggy naming him, but they just did the initials. They never said Ben. In No Way Home, what you just talked about, they put on this list here. In What If, in a Zombies episode of What If, Uncle Ben is referenced, but What If isn't canon. So. Yep, sent off exactly. So, if you put it all together, Uncle Ben's dead in the MCU, but you gotta remember that he referenced losing an uncle, and you gotta remember that that suitcase has Uncle Ben's initials on it. So, while it is not definitive, the evidence suggests that even in the MCU, Uncle Ben's dead. And even Joe Russo says he wasn't responsible for Uncle Ben's death. So basically, Russo's saying he's dead. It's just not Peter's fault. Which is an interesting change from, like, again, the very, very, very well-established Spider-Man canon. Like, you don't get Spider-Man without Uncle Ben dying, and you don't get Batman without his parents getting killed. Like, it's just... no one's dead without a body. I mean, that's fair. Especially in comics. But for now, I'm not going to argue with Joe Russo or the brief references. In the MCU, Uncle Ben dead. But not because of Peter's negligence, evidently. Could have been disease, could have been a car accident. If he's alive, Joe Russo is still not responsible. Fair. What he is responsible for is fucking Professor Hulk, though, and Fat Thor. The Russos are not perfect, but they are still the best candidates to handle Doomsday and Secret Wars. That's for goddamn sure. Anyway. There we go. So I'm a little weirded out by that, honestly, chat. I mean, I'm not freaking out about it. Like, I'm not super upset about it. Like, I mean, it's essentially what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man in pretty much every version of Spider-Man ever on screen. But I don't think it changes. Here's the deal. It does kind of put a mystery around Peter's motivation. Because his motivation to fight crime, again, usually it was Uncle Ben dying. So it'd be interesting to know what his motivation was in this case. Obviously, in No Way Home, spoiler alert, they killed Aunt May. So, you know, that was kind of a flip on it. Because, you know, she died, she gave the line that normally we're used to Uncle Ben doing. So they have a similar event, but the timing's way off. And so I'm curious as to what if Russo's come up with an alternate motivation, and if he has, what it is. But Personally, I'm not freaking out about it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not like a massive fan of it either, though. You know, there's a little bit of what the fuck are you thinking there? But yeah, I'm not going to lose my fucking mind over it. Whole motivation explains civil war between him and Tony. Yeah, to an extent, yeah. I suppose. Okay. I just need to rewatch Civil War a few times, or soon. And also a few more times just because it's fucking good. And yeah, he did explain it's somewhat of a moral decision, but it was a pretty not deep explanation. Anyway, I don't think it's anything to freak out about. I just think it's interesting that they decided to take that direction instead of going the usual route. That's all. Oh, you're good, bro. You're staying on subject, so it's cool. The War End fight is still the best MCU fight for me. I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but I'm not going to argue with you on that one either. Is there another one? No. Hey, no chewing on the napkin. Skedaddle. You've lost your privilege, just like a toddler getting into shit you're not supposed to. One. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that one because it is a damn fine fight. I personally prefer Winter Soldier. Like that might be like overall the best choreographed movie. Infinity War fight on Titan is the best one. I mean that one's up there. It is a pretty damn good fight. I don't know, just like okay. How about this? Let me know what you think about this one, chat. We can digress now because we're basically done with that anyway. For me, best one-on-one fights are in Winter Soldier. And the best group fight for me is Wakanda. Especially when Thor comes rolling up. Oh, man. Yeah, Winter Soldier is the best MCU film. It's the best one. But yeah, if for one-on-one hand-to-hand, Winter Soldier is the best. Any of the one-on-one hand-to-hand, Winter Soldier is the best. Just pick one. First Cap on Winter Soldier fight. Cap on Winter Soldier at the end. Yeah, they're amazing. Winter Soldier is favorite in the movie. Oh, when he rips the steering wheel out of the car when Sam's driving. Yeah. That's a good moment for sure. Fighter jet sequences in Brave New World. Yeah, no, that was a fun sequence. Think Doomsday has a chance to be the best MCU film ever? Yes, it does. I do believe it does. Although even as massive and epic and all the shit that it's supposed to be, by the time it's all said and done, I still say it's, at least for me, it's going to have a hard time, even now for me, beating Winter Soldier. but it has a good chance. I'm not gonna say it's a small chance even. It's got a really damn good chance. But Winter Soldier is just fucking amazing from start to finish. So. Yeah, anytime I play a game for the first time, I always put it on pansy level. Gives me a chance to get really used to it. And I can't think of a video game where I've ever been able to be successful at its highest difficulty. There's been one or two where I've, like, out of 4 difficulties, I've made it to the second. Or no, I made it to the third once. Winter Soldier kicked off the MCU in a way. I mean, kinda. Well, no. Avengers did. Winter Soldier was phase 2. Like, the Avengers movie really kicked it off. Winter Soldier was a return to form in phase 2. Because Dark World, only I. What else came out in phase 2? Because Winter Soldier came out almost like right before Ultron. I think there was one movie in between Winter Soldier and Ultron. Yeah, Winter Soldier was like the we're back moment of phase 2. Oh, yeah, because there was Thor 2, Iron Man 3. You know what? I can just pull it up right here. Let me do that shit. Yeah, because phase 2, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Winter Soldier, then Guardians, which was just fun, and then Age of Ultron. So, yeah, the Winter Soldier was a return to form after Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. Okay. Dark World gets way too much hate. It had a pretty high box office, and if the Dark Elves only spoke English, nobody would complain about it, I think. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll put it this way. I think the Dark World and Iron Man 3 are way overhated. Well, I take that back. I think Dark World's way overhated. I think Iron Man 3's a little overhated. It is definitely the weakest of the 3. That is for sure. And the Dark Elves only speaking English would be lame. What up, Brennan? But yeah, overall, those were. I mean, they did make good money, but like the overall reception for both of those was fairly low. Like when it was all said and done, and then Winter Soldier comes along, it's like, yeah, bitches, this is welcome back to the MCU. And then Guardians came out and was like, oh, what a fun little group this is. And then Age of Ultron, which is also an overhated Marvel movie. Yeah, I saw that. I was actually going to talk about that here in a little while. Yeah, I seen it. All right. Back at it. Wrong button. That button. Okay. This is interesting. Yeah. There's some nostalgia in there. All right. Check this shizzle out. Jonathan Hickman is to architect Midnight, which is Marvel's absolute horror line. So, setting aside the fact that Marvel used the word absolute, we're going to set that aside. But Marvel's coming out with a horror line called Midnight. And the architect of said line is going to be arguably the best comic book writer ever, one Jonathan Hickman. Or at least if he's not the overall best comic book writer ever, Avengers New Avengers Time Runs Out and Secret Wars is probably the greatest comic book story ever written. So he might not be the overall best, but he has created the best comic book story ever. And his Fantastic Four run is also right up there. I actually did rewatch Elektra a few months ago. It was alright. Better than a lot of the recent ones. I don't know. Well, much better. I wouldn't say much better. That's just me. I wouldn't say much better, but it definitely would knock some recent MCU movies even farther down the list a few notches. I will go that far. So Marvel's putting out a horror line built by the man who wrote the greatest comic book story ever. That's fucking dope. The horror side of Marvel Comics is about to get a massive fucking boost. Massive fucking boost. And if you know comics, you know Hickman. And if you know Hickman, you know his shit's badass. So, if you're a fan of the horror side of Marvel Comics, you should be going from 6 to midnight right now. Like, real talk. You really should. Now, just that fact on its own is pretty fucking cool. But there's also another thing to consider, Chad. Now, we've heard lots of rumors and speculation that the MCU is going to start to focus on the supernatural side in this next phase. But, that's just been reports and shit, right? Now, this news right here, to me, pretty much confirms that they are going to be diving into the supernatural side in the MCU finally. Why? Because we do know for a 100% fact that... Seriously, another one? What the fuck? Anyway, where was I? Right. We do know for a complete 100% fact that Feige, since he is now chief creative officer of the entire thing, MCU, comics, all of it, we know that since he took that role, his goal has been to achieve a synergy between the comics and the movies, which is why he ended the Krakoa era. Stink bugs. Some sort of beetle. Kind of smelly when you squish them. Get it, buddy. Anyway. So, yeah. Kevin is trying to achieve synergy between the MCU and the comic side. So, if Marvel Comics is about to dive balls deep into the horror side, and they took the trouble to get Jonathan Hickman to fucking build it up, there is now no question whatsoever that the MCU will be diving into the supernatural side. possibly sooner rather than later. Like, we might not have to wait quite as long as we think for some supernatural she is. Now, I will say this, though. I am betting, due to, like, what movies are coming out, what movies they need to get out fastest after Secret Wars, and their pretty light theater schedule right now, I think, pure 100% speculation on my part. This is just thoughts in my dome. I feel like their first foray into the supernatural side will unfortunately come on Disney Plus. I mean, technically, Agatha was a foray into the supernatural side, but like the hardcore supernatural side. I think we'll probably get our first taste on Disney Plus. Now, would I prefer that they quit fucking around and just do the damn Midnight Suns movie and introduce it on the big screen? Yes. Do I think that'd be the wisest course? Yes. Oh, here's one. Okay, I see it. 1 second. Gotta kill another. Sorry, buddy. I took away your bug toy. Oh, damn. That was a stank one, too. Fuck. Normally the scent I can catch in the napkin or whatever I kill it with, but not that time. I didn't get the napkin closed fast enough. Ugh. 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 Gross. Anyway, I hope Moon Knight is involved with Apocalypse next phase. That would be great, as they both tie back to Egypt. That would be dope. That would be dope. I don't know that they were going to do that, at least not anytime soon. I don't know that they would do that anytime soon. But it would be, it'd be pretty cool if they did. But yeah. Marvel's movie slate, at least right now, they could add, they can change, they can flop, they can change slots meant for Disney to slots meant for Marvel. They can make room. But based on what's out there right now, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get to the supernatural side in the theater anytime soon. Which means they probably will, like, dip their toes in on Disney Plus first. But if they're smart, if they do it right, they will get Disney to give up a spot that says Disney and change it to Marvel and give us our fucking Midnight Suns movie and get that shit going on the big screen. I think Mahershala Ali will return as Blade. I don't know. I would say at this point, the odds have shifted towards no for me. Now, could Marvel improve those odds again with a Brinkstrucker 4? Probably. I'm sure if they kissed his ass enough and wrote a big enough check, they could get him to still do it. But A, I don't know if they want to do that. B, I don't know if he still wants to do it, considering this motherfucker was announced. Was it announced in 2019? Like, are we... Oh, man. We're getting our first Star Wars movie in theaters before we're getting a fucking Blade movie, chat. What the fuck? Blade should have been out 4 years ago. Okay. Remove... Okay. COVID, writer strike, fucked a lot of shit up. Blade should have still been out like 2 years ago. Even with COVID, even with all the strikes, Blade still should have been out 2 fucking years ago. Year 5. COVID fucked shit up for like a year and a half, and then the writer strike fucked shit up for a while. I think that set the record. One of those guilds set the record for the longest strike. I'm pretty sure. Not 100 on that, though. Don't quote me on it, but I feel like that's the truth. reasonably strong. There will only ever be one blade. But Marvel going a straight horror line and having Hickman run it on the comic book side. And knowing that Kevin wants to have synergy between the movie / the screen side and the print side. It's definitely happening in the MCU, 100% for sure. And hopefully, that means that they will get to it more quickly than what it looks like they would based on the current movie slotting as it stands right now. So, yay! Hopefully they do the smart thing and get Disney to change a couple slots. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, chat. We have some Doomsday leakage to go over. And talk about and see what we think. You ready? Because here we go. A Reddit user claims to have access to Avengers Doomsday plot details backed by 500 photos from a Russian Telegram breach of Marvel's servers back in February. Y'all remember hearing about that? These are not confirmed plot details. Okay. SDCC will be very informative. God, I hope so. They are descriptions of unleaked images. That's what I should say, unleaked. And rough draft scenes. Okay. Let's check this shit out. These plot details are from all the way back in February from someone who has access to around 500 of the 50K photos. Damn, that's like, what is that, 1%? That were hacked by the Russian Telegram group. We're dropping 2 0. 10%. No, 1%. Because you got times by 100. Yeah. This person had access to 1% of what the Russians got. Damn. So 500 of 50K that were hacked by the Russian Telegram group. And one more note, a lot of these aren't like exact plot details, but descriptions of images that have remained unleaked and then details from a rough draft, the same rough draft that John Campea received. Only reason why he says these specifically is because he has the images. The images he has backs these up. Okay. That's a weird sentence construction, but it still makes sense. 0.1%. Now you got me wanting to whip out my calculator. Make sure. Oops, wrong button. Oh, it is 10%. No, that's 5,000. Well, if I add a 0, it'll become 1%. Yeah, I was right. 1%. I can still do head math. Woo woo. Anyway, okay, so this is basically. Okay, so again, this is descriptions of images that have not leaked yet, and then details from the same rough draft that Campea received. And again, the only reason why he addresses these specifically is because he has images that confirm them. What the fuck? How the hell did I click that? Oh, you're good. All right, so to the details. They're from these unleaked images. That's the one I want to be on. Pepper Potts is in the movie. There's an image of her talking to a man in a suit. I'm not even going to try and guess who the man in the suit would be. That's super fucking vague. All right. Toby fights Wolverine, X-Men Earth, and Raimi Earth collide. Wolverine has a device, places it down, and sacrifices himself. This, not really new news. But, again, these are descriptions that he's bringing up because he has the images to back them up. You're greening it up? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess technically I'm ambering it up. Damn it. I don't know how many times I've fucking cleaned this thing out. Still being a stubborn ass motherfucking part. There we go. That's mo better. Okay, so that we kind of knew. And then what we've heard before, Toby's in a mocap suit. That has been out there. He's doing a classic pose across from Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who's in costume. Actually, this image did get out on Twitter for a little while. They are on a construction bridge thing. Well, it wasn't that, but it's raining. Wolverine has a black briefcase device, and Toby is trying to get it off him. Okay, so this device, where he says Wolverine has a device, is a black briefcase device. So obviously, this is, you know how like a massive thing for decades has been a dirty bomb in a suitcase? Well, looks like they're using at least a similar trope. Although in this case, it's a bit stronger than a dirty bomb, which is really only good for like a city block or a few. This is a dirty briefcase bomb that can blow up an entire motherfucking planet. Now in the comics, Avengers New Avengers Time Runs Out, the bombs they used were antimatter bombs. So they take an antimatter bomb, set it off, and then of course when antimatter encounters matter, when they collide, they annihilate. That's just straight up physics. Yeah, I definitely think that's confirmed. In my mind, it's confirmed anyway. And has there been official confirmation? No. But yeah, like when you put this together, because again, these are descriptions based on images this person got. Okay, so this isn't just like him popping out, recycling rumors or whatever, just because that's what aggregators do. These are things he's specifically bringing up because he has the image right there on his fucking screen in front of him. Making me work too hard for that shit. So, yeah, so it definitely looks like the opening scene, or very close to the opening scene of Doomsday, is going to be that X-Men universe popping into Toby's universe, and a cool fight happening that's going to end with that motherfucking universe getting blown the fuck up and taking Wolverine with it. And according to rumor, he's not confirming it in here unless it's on the next image. Supposedly Toby's going to be going with Wolverine, but also they're supposed to be a big part of Secret Wars, so they're not going to die per se. It's just going to look like it. All right. Next up, there's images of Deadpool having his crotch over Reed. Imagine that Deadpool scene where he hit someone in the face with his crotch. Yeah. Then they stand up and point at each other like the Spider-Man meme. This happens in the X Mansion. Okay. Now I know if you're going to have Deadpool in something, Deadpool has to Deadpool a little. There are different ways to Deadpool than that, though. Like, do some fourth wall breaking, some dirty jokes, toilet humor, and leave it verbally. That. Here's the good thing, chat, is that Marvel does a lot of editing and re-editing and re-editing and reshooting and re-editing and reshooting and re-editing, and you get the idea. Just because this image exists does not mean it's going to be in the movie. Because as we know, Marvel likes to rearrange shit, redo shit, and do a lot of plussing. Fuck. When you go take a drink to clear your throat, it makes it worse. All right. I got to grab a pop. I'll be right back. So, yeah, hopefully that one hits the cutting room floor, because please no. And that would be funny, but they would lose their PG-13 rating if they did that, Santa. That would be fucking hilarious. So, yeah, hopefully that hits the cutting room floor. Not the biggest fan of that. But I do, however, acknowledge Deadpool has to Deadpool when he's around. All right. During the F4 post-credit scene, Doomsday will show while Victor was at the F4's house, Reed and Johnny were at a baseball game. In images, they'll fly off in the Fantastic Car. Reed and Johnny enter the Baxter building confused, seeing Doom with Sue. Okay. So in the post-credit scene to F4, when Sue comes walking around the corner, ready to whoop some ass, and then sees Doom with Franklin, and then decides not to whoop some ass. Evidently, while that was happening, Reed and Johnny were at a baseball game. Where the fuck is Ben then? That's awesome. Y'all remember that thing with at that Star Wars screen? Where the fuck is Ben? It applies here. Where the fuck is Ben? Except in this case, it's Ben Grimm and not Ben Solo. But yeah, where the fuck is Ben? Why isn't he at the baseball game? Why isn't he home? Where the fuck is Ben? Anywho, so in images that fly off and Reed and Johnny enter the Baxter building confused, seeing Doom with Sue. Okay, so basically, Reed and Johnny are going to be off doing, brother-in-law things. Or, yeah, brother-in-law bonding with baseball, America's pastime. And then we see them flying off in the Fantastic Car to go home from said game. And they're going to come in the Baxter building, and it's going to be a what the fuck moment for them. Okay. But again, where the fuck is Ben? Now, according to the draft, Victor is an old friend with Reed and Sue. They've known each other for years, and F4 don't believe he'd ever betray them. Doom is from the F4 world. The F4 bring Doom and Steve on the ship to go to 616, likely the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Okay. Well, the F4 bringing Doom and Steve on the ship, that's been rumored for a hot minute now. And and it being the Thunderbolts post-credit ship, yes. He's doing a final inspection on the multiverse ship, maybe? That's entirely possible, bro. Entirely possible. Only one thing, though. was you probably remember better than I do. Was it talked about for the need for? Did they talk about like a lot of multiversal shit in the F4 movie? Like, would there have been a need for? Did they think there was a need at that time for a multiversal ship, or will they not need the multiversal ship till Doom shows up? It's like, we got problems, Brit. But even if it's not a multiversal ship, I know they were planning on going back to space at some point anyway. So you're right. He could be doing some sort of ship-related stuff. That would make a lot of sense. Actually, good call. Is that what it is? Who the fuck knows? But is that a possibility? I'd say that's a good possibility. That would be very much in character. That would be very much a character for him. So now there's been a lot of rumors about if is Doom part of the F4 universe. Then there's that whole rumor about him being from an alternate universe and an experiment killing his Sue and his Franklin. And that's how he got all fucked up. We had a 4-year time jump. True. Very true. Well, that would work because if like that first conversation when Reed and Johnny get home and Doom's there, like, what the fuck, bro? And Doom's like, we got problems. And then over the next 4 years, they study the problems and make the ship. That would work great. Yes, getting back to the Doom being from 828. Now, there have been all kinds of rumors that Doom is from not that universe. And that in his own universe, something that he did leads to the death of his Sue and his Franklin, and leads to him basically being Vader, all fucked up and needing his armor to survive. But now this is saying that Doom is from 828, and he's old friends with Reed and Sue. They know each other for years, and that F4 don't believe he'd ever betray them. And that part actually kind of lines up with that other rumor about Sue feeling like the Coven is what's making Doom do gross shit instead of it being Doom's idea the whole time. So them knowing each other for years and F4's belief about his lack of betrayal would fit right into that rumor. So one of two things is true. Only one set of rumors can be true in this case. Either A, this draft, and remember, this is a draft. This draft could be older than the Doom being from another universe thing. Could be. Or the Doom from another universe thing could be the original idea, and then they switch to what's in this draft here. There's no telling. But they are mutually exclusive ideas. Like, it's either this way, with them knowing Doom, him being from that universe, old friends, yada, yada, yada. Or it's the other way, with him being from another universe, and him fucking around doing shit is what got his Sue and his Franklin killed, and him all fucked up. I feel like this movie could suck all of a sudden. Why? What up, Delta Dan? Don't let the discussion of battling rumors like screw with you. That's all we're talking about right now is we have snippets from one of the many drafts of this movie that we know would exist because of how Marvel does their shit. Right? This is just one copy of one draft. Who knows how many drafts there were before this? God only knows how many adjusted drafts there have been since this. All I'm saying is, if this is one version of it, and this is the one they go with, well, just in general, only one version could be true. It's either this one or the other one. What up, Dave? That's all I'm saying. Either this part is true or the other rumor is true, but they cannot both be true. They're just too different. So even that little bit of mystery is kind of fun in and of itself. Like there's two ways it could play out, but between now and December, or since this is fucking Marvel, this could play out in a fucking third or even fourth way that we have no clue about. I mean, they're filming reshoots right now. They could be changing this shit. They could have already changed this shit. They could be about to change this shit. Again, this is Marvel. Marvel loves to do their plussing. So this, depending on how old this is, this could be completely moot and no longer be any kind of accurate. It could be the case that not only is this now not accurate, but that other rumor could also now not be accurate. We could have a whole other scenario here. But I think it's interesting. It's actually kind of fun that we have dueling rumors. Because then we could talk about why we think either one is true. Imagine the amount of betrayal taking place in this rumor, along with the rest of the betrayal towards other characters. It's just so much. Yeah, but it's going to be so awesome when everyone, like when all the good guys, the protagonists, finally realize what's up. And the emotional damage that's going to ensue at that moment is going to be fucking amazing to watch. Emotional damage! There's going to be a lot of that. Now, where the damage comes from, there's been various rumors and reports about that. But what's consistent among all the rumors and reports is there will definitely be a ton of emotional damage incurred in this movie as a result of Doom doing some form of betrayal. That's one thing they all agree on. Some of the specifics they don't all necessarily agree on. But Doom's betrayal, like basically destroying everybody in an emotional sense, that's been consistent throughout. And there's absolutely no reason for that part to change. That's the last of the Marvel. After this, we go to DC, chat. So any final thoughts on that? Because I'm about needing to pee. Okay, well, if you come up with any thoughts that you want to share, throw them in the chat. I'm going pee. Which, honestly, y'all should look forward to this. See you in a bit. Time's up, chat. I know. I'm an asshole. All right. Let us get into the DC of it all. You ready? No, Delta Dan, I cannot. But also, if one of these these breaks ends up, taking about 10 or so minutes, don't ask no questions. That's all I'm saying. Don't ask no questions. Ooh, look at that. Damn, I thought that jumped to 5 times at once. Oh. Hell yeah, my last 2 rolls, 99 and 100. That's fucking more like it, Streamlabs. Way to respect your boss, finally, you fuck. All right. It's DC time. Let's go. First up, I don't know, is that the director? I don't know. Anyway, it's either the director or the writer. Craig Gillespie confirmed Supergirl will include a post-credit scene, but says he, quote, can't tease it. Fine, whatever. $5 says it's going to have to do with Man of Tomorrow. Because I doubt a Supergirl post-credit is going to have shit to do with Clayface. So whatever it is, it's going to tie this into Man of Tomorrow, which we know she's in. So, the film's current reported runtime is 1 hour and 50 minutes. Interesting. I mean, I never thought this would be like a long movie, but this bitch isn't even 2 hours long. I'm not talking about Millie, the movie, when I say this bitch. Like, wow. I'm honestly kind of surprised by that. I hope if it's that short that like they've put it together in such a way that there are literally no pacing issues. Because if you have a movie that's 1 hour and 50 minutes long, and a movie that short feels like it's going slow, you done fucked up. So what that runtime tells me, hopefully, is that this is going to be a reasonably quickly paced movie. There's not going to be a lot of fucking around. Now, that fact is probably going to annoy those people that are not only fans of comic book movies, but are also like cinephiles and love to pick apart comic book movies from a technical standpoint. So, like, 100%, if the pacing's off even a little, they'll whine. But if the pacing's off to the point where we're like, what the fuck, that's going to be a big issue. Well, hopefully, again, since this is just for modern times, a short movie, much less for comic book movies. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, hopefully it means a quick pace, not a lot of fucking around. Again, cinephiles are going to cry about lack of character development and all that kind of shit, but whatever, shut the fuck up. Like, cry about that shit in movies that are made to win awards. This movie is not made to win awards. So, bring the pinky in, put the teacup down, and shut the fuck up. Anyway. So, yeah, we're going to have a not that long Supergirl movie, but that's going to have a post-credit scene that obviously will tie into Man of Tomorrow. What do you guys think about that short-ass runtime, chat? What do you guys think about it? Do you have any opinions on it? Do you think does it mean anything to you? Well, if they did the story right, Brooke, it should be. That's why that first trailer was like, what the hell are we doing with this Guardians of the Galaxy feel? Because that's not that kind of story. Like we're talking like minimum Guardians 3 kind of heavy shit. Like with the parts about Rocket specifically. Like that's what this movie should feel like. Let me rephrase that. The whole movie shouldn't feel like that because that would just be a big old bummer. But that should be like the main undercurrent. You can put different kind of tones and shit over top of that, but that should be the undercurrent throughout the entire movie. I mean, she's going to be reminded about her world getting destroyed, and on top of that, she's going to have a poisoned dog to deal with. This should be a reason. This should be a darker, emotionally toned movie for the most part. Again, you don't want that the whole time, at least not in this. There are some movies obviously designed to be that way, but this is a movie that should not be. And frankly, James Gunn is in charge of the studio, so there's no way it could be. Let's be real about it. Now, Clayface, I'll bet that's a different case. That's a movie that could be and really should be like dark and dreary throughout the whole thing. Like that's a movie built for that. Supergirl is not. Different type of thing. But yeah, super short runtime. You think it's great, Dave? Hope that makes it snappy and cuts out all the dross. Okay, well I don't know what part of England you're from, so if I fuck this up, like if I get the area wrong, the accent I'm about to do, my apologies. But also, you used British terms in there, so now I have to reread it in the British accent. Two reasons: one, because I'm me, and two, my 100% all natural tobacco here is doing well for me. So here we fucking go. I think is great. Hope that makes it snappy and cuts out all the dross. Again, don't know if that's appropriate for the area of the UK in which you live, but there you go. Curious to see how Lobo will be like in the film. Lobo is going to be a bit of where the comic relief comes from. Because he's snarky. Lobo just as a character is snarky. He talks a lot of shit. I mean, he has a fairly troubled backstory on his own. I mean, he too is the last survivor of his planet, except he's the one that depopulated his planet. So it's a little bit different. I mean, basically take someone with at least the strength and durability of Superman, because he can't fly on his own, Lobo. But someone with the strength and durability of Superman, but make him like biker gang angry rather than injustice angry. Not. I said I didn't know if it was appropriate to the area of the UK in which you live. What, do you sound more Liverpudlian? Do you sound like you should have been on Peaky Blinders, Dave? Is that what the deal is? By order of the fucking Peaky Blinders. Anywho, so yeah, short run time, which hopefully means a quickly paced, fun movie for us to enjoy at the end of June. I believe the 26th. Yep, June 26th. 6/26/26 for the Supergirl. And again, short runtime, and we're getting a post-credit scene that dude can't tease, but that we all know is going to lead into Man of Tomorrow. Speaking of which, we have some official casting news for Man of Tomorrow, chat. Check this one out. Matthew Lillard is going to be in Man of Tomorrow. Matthew Lillard is going to be yet another actor to have a role in both the MCU and over there at DC, whatever they're calling it at the time right now, DCU. What's his fuzz? The homie that plays J. Jonah Jameson was Commissioner Gordon in Snyder's movies. What was the runtime? 1 hour and 50 minutes. So 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. And as we know, the runtimes include credits, so we're talking an hour and 45 minutes of movie, probably. But given that the majority of the comic book movie audience is dudes, it's probably going to be fine that that's going to be the comic book movie equivalent of a quickie. We're probably not going to complain because we're dudes. Probably short so Jason Momoa can get his drink. Yeah, that too. Yeah, so we're going to have one Matthew Lillard in Man of Tomorrow. In what fucking capacity and what kind of character? Who the hell knows? Yep, Mr. Charles from Daredevil is now going to be in Man of Tomorrow doing God fucking knows what. Not a super deep story, not an earth-shattering story, but it's interesting. I mean, Matthew Lillard being cast in anything is always interesting because even though he basically sounds the same all the time, he still somehow manages to make adjustments in other ways to where you can tell it's all different characters. So it's going to be cool. I'm very curious to see what he ends up being and doing in that movie. Hopefully we get a couple hints between now and then. I mean, it's not coming out for, 14 months still. I'm sure we'll get some hints. But I think it's cool. I like Lillard. I'm a fan. So, him and Man of Tomorrow, cool. I'm not like throwing a party over it, but that's still pretty cool. You guys got any quick little thoughts on that one? I'm gonna go ahead and lose some basement bucks now that I've made some. He was the same as Alex Cross season 2 as the bad guy. Oh, nice. I'm a fan of the Alex Cross books. I read. There was a while when it was a while ago, but there was a time in my life where I had all of the ones that were currently in print. Fucking love the Alex Cross books. But they disappeared in a move, and I haven't been able to replace them. Nor have I watched the show. Wait a minute, what the fuck happened? Well, then I gotta fucking pull this shit back up. Okay. We're back. Cool. All right, chat. Oh no, we got one more. Sorry, I almost forgot about this. All right, so a while ago, it had been talked about that there was a Deathstroke and Bane movie being put into development over there at the DCU. Well, now, chat, the director search has a front runner. So evidently, they're still working on this motherfucker. And Greg Matola is the front runner to potentially direct a Deathstroke and Bane movie for DC. Known for directing Superbad and Paul, as well as episodes of Peacemaker. I don't know if this is in the same Deadline article that we're going to be going over for the next and final story, but so evidently they're still doing this thing. We are getting Clayface this fall. Villain only movie. And now, chat, we have another villain only movie in development at DC. It's almost like Gunn is making the same mistake he made at the beginning when he constantly talked about how he was going to do it different than Marvel and yada, yada, yada. And now it's turning out that he's realizing that Marvel is the blueprint for a shared universe and you really can't do it too differently. Like, you got to do it a lot of the ways that Marvel has. You got to do a lot of things that Marvel does to keep things connected and all that shit. He's finally learning that. But it appears he still has yet to learn from the example of the Sony Spider-Man universe, which 100% proved that making villain movies without your hero counterpart in them is a bad fucking idea. And making them crappy movies is an even worse idea. Like, no hero and crappy on top of that. Not smart. Leads to failure. Just ask Sony. But evidently, Gunn is back in that mode, despite all the evidence to the contrary. A, yeah, you got to do it like Marvel does. And B, you should not do what Sony did. But this motherfucker always thinks he can do it better. So, evidently, we're getting a Bane and Deathstroke movie. All I have to say is that I hope Clayface and that movie are of much higher quality than what Sony put out for its villain only. That's all I got to say. But I still don't think, even if these are high quality movies, I still say making a villain movie without the hero in it is a bad idea. You can make a villain focused movie and still have the hero in it. Easiest way, just flip the perspective. Instead of the movie being from the hero's perspective, it's from the villain's perspective. But you can still have the hero in it doing a lot of hero shit. They'll just be seeing it from the villain's point of view. You just saw Madam Web yesterday. It was pretty odd. Yep. Just hope Deathstroke and Bane don't turn into anti-heroes. Yeah, that too. I mean, there was actually a Lethal Defender Venom run, so it's not like Tom Hardy just was like, I want to do Venom this way without any precedent. There was precedent. But yeah. Just because a comic run exists does not mean you need to adapt it. There are plenty of complete Aya's comic runs that should never, ever be adapted onto a screen of any kind in any format. Live action animation, big screen, small screen, they should never see the light of day. They should only be in print and rarely read. So, Any further thoughts on that before we get to our next and also final and also headline subject? If I was Bruce Buffer, I would be like, it's time. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. The main event of the evening. That's where we're at, chat. So, any final thoughts on the Bane and Deathstroke movie still being a thing? All right. Sounds like you're going to keep with the lethal defender in the MCU. God, I hope not. Please no. I want a well done evil, fully evil Venom. Sorry that Topher Grace shit did not make the cut. No, I want complete villain Venom. If they want to work their way back to Lethal Protector or Lethal Defender, whatever the fuck it is, that's fine. But I want a fair chunk of evil, fully evil Venom first. Deathstroke is awesome, and the guy who plays Bullseye would be great. Yeah, I mean, it's Gunn. It's his own universe. He's probably not calling up Joe Manganiello. And Wilson Bethel would be pretty good in that role. Who knows? Maybe James will snag him. Because I have no idea what his contract is like. He could only be contracted for Daredevil Born Again Season 3, and that's it. He could be a free agent. That could actually fucking happen. It is definitely within the realm of possibility. All right, chat. Last subject. And fair warning, if you are a gun gargler, you're about to be very displeased with what I'm about to say. So, step away now if you do not want to hear me crap all over Gun for this shit. But not too long ago, I can't remember when exactly, within the last 2 weeks, I'll put it that way, we did get 100% confirmation that one Adria Arjona was cast in Man of Steel. And of course, everyone and their brother, including one of Jeff Snyder's sources, says that she's Wonder Woman. His source said it. Other people hinted at it. A lot of it was speculation. It was a fair chunk of fan casting as well. But, overall, the consensus amongst the nerds, insiders or regular nerds like us, was that, yeah, it's Adria Arjona. She's going to be Wonder Woman. It would be stupid, dumb as fuck, to cast her as Maxima. Well, chat. Wait, that's the old one. Why did that link to that old ass article? Hold on. I probably could just go. Yeah, that was an old one. Deadline confirmed. Okay, so that's been May 6th, but why didn't you link that? Okay, well. according to everything DCU, who gets a lot of stuff right. Although I think they may have fucked up. But according to them, Deadline has confirmed that Adria Arjona is playing Maxima. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not sure anymore how accurate this is because I just realized when I did a search for that article, it went back to the original one back in April, where Deadline and one other trade said, yeah, she's Maxima, and then two of the other trades were like, we don't fucking know. And that was the only article I could find that supports this tweet from Tuesday. And they didn't link anything. They just said it, and everyone retweeted the fuck out of it. But when I went to find the supporting article today from Deadline, I just found the one from like a month ago. And I talked about that article then. So let's go this route. If everything DCU did not fuck up and not look at the date on the article that they may be referencing from Deadline, maybe they didn't put a link in there. So I'm kind of feeling and looking a little foolish right now, but we're just going to keep going with this shit. We're going to power through this, chat. So let's assume that I just couldn't find the article that everything DCU is referring to, and there is an article somewhere Deadline that says, yeah, she's definitely fucking Maxima, and it's not the one from April 14th, which is the one I found. Let's say there's one I just didn't find, which wouldn't be the first time that I haven't been able to find an article that definitely should be there. Remember I mentioned cat stuff? I'll be back. Fucking butthole of a cat. Anywho, so, and again, this is possible. Let's say that I couldn't find the article that everything DCU is talking about. And that's a more recent article than the one that we talked about a fucking month ago. We're going to assume that's true for now. If they actually did cast Adria Arjona as fucking Maxima and not Wonder Woman, that is so goddamn dumb. I don't even like what no. You don't fucking do that shit, dude. You don't cast an actress on the level of Adria Arjona to play a fucking C tier character in a Superman movie. You cast her as Wonder Woman. Not just because she's on the level of actress to where she should be playing Wonder Woman and not someone like fucking Maxima. But you need to get the fucking Trinity out to us, James. Like, you can't fuck around anymore. Like, things are in flux with the whole Paramount purchase. Who knows if they're going to renew your ass next spring? Like, if you want to have a chance at keeping your damn job, you need to have definitive plans to get the Trinity out ASAP. And introducing Adria Arjona as Wonder Woman and not Maxima would be a good fucking way to help secure your goddamn job. Really, getting your Batman out would probably seal the deal. Because Batman is the biggest character in DC. He's the most popular character in DC. Everyone loves the Batman movie, for the most part. Everyone wants to see Batman for the most part. We definitely want to see your Batman, if for no other reason than curiosity. So fucking, dude, Trinity. The Trinity. That's what you need to be working on. You don't need to be working on fucking Deathstroke and Bane. I mean, Clayface exists. That's going to happen. But you should have ignored that. Like, get the Trinity. So if everything DCU didn't fuck up, and I'm the one that fucked up in my article search, it's Bix from Andor. And she's been in other stuff. But it's Bix from Andor. This chick. Yeah, casting her as Maxima before you even have a Wonder Woman is just stupid, insanely fucking dumb. We need Wonder Woman. We don't need Maxima. I mean, they need to do it a lot sooner in Deathstroke and Bane. They need to do it in Clayface, or they need to get the fucking Batman movie out. Period. Exactly, David. Exactly. So yeah, if that's actually true, if I'm the one that fucked up and couldn't find it, instead of everything DCU being the one that fucked up and found a month-old article and went with it, yeah, this would be insanely dumb as fuck for a wide variety of reasons. But I also wouldn't put it past him. That's the problem. Is it's totally believable. It's not like we'd look at this report and go, nah, he wouldn't fucking do that. He would. That's the scary part, is he would fucking do that. I mean, let's be real. We love the Guardians movie. The Guardians only blew up as big as they did because it came out right after Winter Soldier. Same reason Captain Marvel was a $1 billion movie is because it came out between Infinity War and Endgame. That movie isn't anywhere near as popular or do anywhere near that well if it comes out at any other point in time. Same with the Guardians. MCU is riding high off Winter Soldier, and they're like, okay, now's the time for this shit because everyone loves us, so we can get away with it. And it happened to work. But yeah, timing was everything with Guardians, and timing was everything with Captain Marvel. And the timing and James trying to do it without having like a bunch of goodwill already established has not worked out well. We watched Creature Commandos, but not a lot of people did. Peacemaker was very popular amongst the people that watched it, but not a lot of people watched it. Oh, and it was popular amongst the people that watched it right up until that season 2 finale, which I saw was almost universally destroyed, even by the stalwart gun fans. That was interesting to watch. Even a few of the people I know out there that are like, tend to be gun apologists were what the fucking that finale. So I was like, damn. Now, see, I've never watched a frame of Peacemaker, and I never will. But Gunn fucked that finale up so bad, that's all I saw on comic book Twitter for like a day. Like, people were going ham on that finale. It was crazy and also hilarious as hell. For me. You are 100% correct, Sanoff. Lantern should be a movie too. But yeah, so we need the Trinity. You don't cast Adria Arjona as a C tier character, and we need the Trinity. So, if she actually is going to be Maxima, dumb as fuck, but also wouldn't really be surprising considering Gunn's history with his love of what he would call deep cut characters, but what I would call C or D level characters. He loves them. And he got them to work in Guardians, but again, that was a timing thing. Hasn't worked on its own in his universe yet. So, yeah, that would be dumb as fuck. What do you guys think? Not Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, the movie. No, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the Guardians movies. I even enjoy 2 more than a lot of people. And I think Captain Marvel's a decent movie. But they wouldn't be anywhere near as big if they didn't have that really good timing behind them. Yeah, no, the Christmas special was fun. Don't get me wrong. I like Guardians. I'm just saying their massive popularity is more due to timing than the characters themselves. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're bad characters. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I like them. I'm just saying their level of success was greatly aided by the timing. That's all I got for you, chat. It is now your time. You can share thoughts, questions, or concerns about stuff we've talked about. You can share thoughts, questions, or concerns about whatever at this point. The planned subjects be over. So we'll hang out for a few while you guys share whatever it is you feel like sharing, and then we're getting the fuck out. Yeah. Because I have some actual greenery waiting for me. And not this, what I got to use indoors stuff. No, I like Amon Vellani. I think Ms. Marvel's fun, but a couple things about that character. One, they need to mature her up or start maturing her up in a very tangible way. And 2, even if they do mature her up, she's still a character that should only be around in small doses. Kind of like Deadpool, but for different reasons. This Marvel show was made for preteens, and it did kind of have that feel. Most things are down to timing. Fair. Guardians was pretty heavy Thanos. Captain Marvel could be erased. Yeah. And I wouldn't say heavy Thanos, but it is true that Guardians is where you get the most screen time of Thanos prior to Infinity War. That's a fact. I don't think they made her cringy or flawless. I mean, she had flaws because the character was black to be good. Oh, yeah. Well, little cringy in spots. Mostly endearing and adorable, but she did cross that cringe line a couple of times. Although I blame the writing more. I think Iman Vellani is a good actress. I think the Ms. Marvel character in general is fun, but they do need to give her some maturity at this point. And they definitely should not overuse her. Now, we are going to get a fair chunk in Secret Wars of the champions. I mean, it's just the way it's probably going to go. But if they do, obviously if they do a good enough job, then cool. But I definitely don't think they need to be spending a shit ton of time on the champions. That's all I'm saying. Was that the one where she was time jumping or whatever? That's the one you're talking about. Yeah, I agree. That was a pretty decent episode. Doomsday cast revere. No, I don't think they're going to chairs again at all. As for when we'll get more cast revealed, if we're lucky, at SDCC. Because they're back to Hall H. Thank God. Okay, yeah, that was a good episode. I do agree. Fuck. What the fuck is even happening right now? As I understand it, the kids will look to the OG Marvel characters before the MCU to help them save their parents. Okay. Ooh, I rolled another 100. Hell yeah, Streamlabs. Making up for lost time, baby. I believe last year was one of the best years for the MCU in a while. Like 2025. I mean, outside of Brave New World, yeah, even though the box office of Thunderbolts and F4 didn't reflect it, those were both really good movies. Most of the shows were pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's definitely better than 2023 was or 2022. Yeah. For sure. We're here for the what did I think? Oh, dude. Episodes 9 and 10 of Darth Maul Shadow Lord. Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. That was just freak myself out. No. Episodes 9 and 10 of Darth Maul Shadow Lord are for me the best thing Disney Star Wars has put out in its entire existence. Yep. Better than the end of Mando Season 2. Better than Rogue One. Better than all of it. Last year is the worst ever for box office returns for Marvel, yet 100%. That is a fact. The three movies put together barely cleared $1 billion. It was like 1.1 something, maybe 1.2 together. Because what? Brave New World was what? 425. Thunderbolts is 375, so that's 7. No, that's 8. Okay, so it's like 1.3 because Fantastic Four did like 5 something. But still. Not even 2 of those movies could crack $1 billion. It took all 3. So yeah, that was yes. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine alone did 1.3 in summer 2024. And then all 3 of 2025's movies added together did about the same. Haven't had an MCU movie since June or July last year. Yeah, F4 in July. That's the last one. July 25th, I believe, is when it came out. But yeah, if you don't want to be super pedantic and we'll call Spider-Man an MCU movie, then yeah, it'll be a year and a week. It'll be 53 weeks between MCU movies. It hasn't been out long enough to chart yet. All won't hit the Nielsen charts if it's going to chart until maybe tomorrow, maybe this week, but probably not till next week. And that'll just be for the premiere. Does animated no way it charted? Well, we won't know. But yeah, probably not. It probably won't. But yeah, episodes 9 and 10 is the best thing Disney Star Wars has put out for me. Period. That was some fucking amazing shit. Well, they are already slowing down. That's a fair chunk of reason we're only getting. Well, technically, if you want to be pedantic about the Sony thing, technically we're only getting one MCU movie this year and one combo movie in the form of Spider-Man. And as of right now, we're only still getting one MCU movie next year. Secret Wars is the only thing scheduled for next year for Marvel. And then there's like 2 scheduled for 2028. So, I mean, I think they should do what they should do is 2, occasionally 3 movies a year, depending on their need. 2 live action shows and 2 animated shows. That's it. 6 or maybe 7 projects total in a calendar year. Darth Vader not saying a word was so good. I know what they were getting at with the silent, menacing kind of movie monster thing. But Vader talks shit. Like, he's not a quiet fighter. He talks shit. He tries to throw you off balance. So, but I understand what they're getting at. I didn't hate it. It was cool. Like, the silent menacing thing was cool, but I wanted to hear it. But it was cool. I'm not saying it wasn't cool. I'm just saying it could have been cooler. Be a lot cooler if they did. That was some awesome Vader scenes. Yes, it was. I don't care for the Obi-Wan show at all. Yeah, a lot of it sucked. I hate that Vader was in it. Oh, I do not. Because that fucking him walking down that street scene was fucking amazing. Like, that's the most Vader-y Vader has been in live action. Is that and when he yanked that shit back down. That's the most Vader-y Vader's been in all of Star Wars. showed both his power and his complete lack of mercy at that point in time. They used the OG voice actor for Vader and Maul as the OG Vader actor didn't mind his voice reused in AI. Well, he didn't talk. So yeah, they James Earl Jones, Disney has the rights to his voice. So if they do decide to have Vader speak in Maul season 2 at some point, then yeah, you'll hear a generated version of James Earl Jones' voice. You probably saved a ton not having to pay James Earl Jones fans. Well, they bought the rights. Like, the purchase is done. They can use it whenever they want. They could have used it. They just chose not to. Like, it's not a pay-per-use thing. They, like, bought the rights to it. They just went the Silent Menace route. Which I don't mind. It was cool to watch. Don't get me wrong. There is definitely something to say by having someone that badass and powerful just fuck you up without saying a word. But, Vader historically talks a little bit of shit. Yep. That is true. And honestly, I thought he was going to buy it in episode 9. Like, I thought either Marak or Hawkface thing, their 11th brother, was gonna get him. Then Vader showed up, and I was like, nope, it's going to be Vader. Yeah, Maul pulled some shit, being like, oh, yeah, nope, I'm good. And then Vader kills Daki because Maul basically stopped helping. And then now Devin is going to become Darth Talon, hopefully. That'd be pretty cool. Someone will eventually replace James Earl Jones. Who do I think? I have no fucking idea. I have no clue who even could. Like, when it comes to that, like, that's one of the things I get off my lawn about. Like, don't fuck with James Earl Jones' voice. Disney could have to pay every time he uses his voice. I mean, that could be the way the rights were secured. That could be. Generally, a rights deal is I give you a check and now I get to do what the fuck I want. Well, you only up to episode 5? Sorry. I mean, some of what we talked about, you could have figured out just by logic anyway. But spoiler warning. Oops. My bad. All right, chat. Got anything else? I'm feeling like it's about time to be done with this here particular screen. Feeling like it's time to get going pretty damn soon. Woohoo! I won again. Punisher next week. Hell yeah. Maybe the Punisher creator just passed for release. Yeah, that is a bummer. They're going to reboot Stars within 10 years' time? Maybe. Of course, it depends on what you mean exactly by reboot. Maybe they'll reset. Like, oh, well, I appreciate you being here to participate in said chill sessions. All right. Chad, I do believe Punisher. Yeah, it's Tuesday, dog. We're going to be watching it. sir. We watching that shit Tuesday night at 9. Hell yeah. And depending, I'm gonna tease a little something. Depending on how this next week goes, there's something I'm keeping my eye on. And if it holds up, we're gonna have a little something extra to our stream on next Saturday. But it's something I have to keep my eye on for another week. Someone I know says they should go to different storylines in Star Wars instead of always bringing back legacy characters. I mean, you would think that'd be true, except Star Wars does its best when there's legacy characters involved, like overall. Um, 22nd or 23rd. I think 22nd is that. Oh no, yeah. Oh no, I'm fucked up. Hold on. Yes, the 22nd. You are correct. Which also is the next best possible time for the release of the Doomsday trailer. How far do I think Punisher is after Daredevil Born Again? And how far before Spider-Man Brand New Day? That'll be your first Star Wars movie in theaters. I'm both happy and sad for you for that. I'm happy that you're going to get your first Star Wars movie in a theater finally, but also I'm kind of sad that it's this one. Like, honestly, the 50th anniversary of A New Hope drops next year, and it's going to be the original theatrical cut, not the version with all the extra shit George put in there. Honestly, I'd wait for that for your first Star Wars movie in theaters. Your first Star Wars movie in theaters could be the first Star Wars movie in theaters that a lot of people had, because it was the first one ever. Just saying. I do not think that's going to happen. I will not say it's completely out of the question, but no. As much as I would like that to be the case, I think the chances of that being a thing in this movie are about that. Maybe even only. They need to reboot. They can take a break, Legacy with the Old Republic, and reboot a TV show with Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn. Oh, okay. So your reboot isn't just going back and doing the OT to restart. You're talking like jumping back before the prequels and starting and working their way up to Legacy. I wouldn't be mad at that, actually. Yeah, I think going back and instantly redoing the OT as the restart, as where you're going to start your reboot, that would be a mistake. Good question. No answer. Oh yeah, my bad, dog. Sorry. But yeah, going back before the prequels is a good idea. Well, Dario Scartapane said there's only going to be about a year between season 2 and season 3. So I would say he's going to need a certain amount of time for him to do whatever he's going to do in the special. However much time the special covers is a big part of that. But without knowing that till Tuesday, I would say of course, there's also the factor that Brand New Day is taking place simultaneously with, or like just before Doomsday. And that has to be less than a year before Daredevil Born Again season 3. Probably, I don't imagine if the Punisher special is going to cover a massive amount of time, days, probably only. So, I don't, I'd probably, I'm going to guess and say there's maybe 6 months between Punisher special and Spider-Man, and also by that token, possibly also Doomsday, if they're running concurrently, or close to concurrently. So I'd say probably, I'm just going to split the difference and say it's 3 months both directions. Tell the story, the subtle twist and deep from a good point of view and clean up the story. I mean, yeah. Hoping a brand new day's post credit will add hype like Age of Ultron or Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I imagine the brand new day post credit scene is going to tie directly into Doomsday, just like the new one they put on the re-release of Endgame. Might tie into two different spots of the movie, but I imagine that they're both going to tie in. I mean, it's literally the next movie, so yeah. I doubt it's going to tie into anything else. Of course. Well, no, they wouldn't want to do that. I suppose there is a small chance they could tie it to Secret Wars, but I don't think that'd be a good idea. No, it'll probably tie into Doomsday somehow. Matter of fact, it could they could be like what 2.5, 3 minutes long and sum up the close relationship between time wise, possibly between Brand New Day and Doomsday, and explain why we're gonna barely see Tom, if at all, in Doomsday. That post credit might explain that for us, which is something we definitely want to fucking know. Right? We're going to want a reason for that shit. So, I think that's probably. I think there's a decent chance that that's what that post credit's going to be. It's going to tie into Doomsday and explain why Holland is barely going to be in it. Yeah. Or at least that's what I think they should do. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Well, chat. It's that time. It's time to go. I gotta get some kind of rest because tomorrow's Mother's Day. That means I have to be. Well, I mean, yeah, tomorrow's Mother's Day. I have to be ready to do stuff. Miss Toby's the only Spider-Man in Doomsday. I can see how the post-credit scene would be for Secret Wars. I mean, yeah. I don't know if you want to do a post-credit scene tying into a movie that we're not going to get for like a year and a half. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm just saying it'd have to be really creative, and it'd be kind of a thing, in my opinion. But yeah, they could do it. All right. It's bye-bye time. Thank you guys so very much for being here. You're an amazing group of people. You're very fun to hang with. And there's so many other things you could be doing, but you're here. So thank you very, very much. Come on back Tuesday for that there Punisher special for 55 to 60 minutes of Punisher goodness. What movie do you think we'll see MCU related before Doomsday? I don't know that there's going to be one. It could be a little of both. True. I mean, Secret Wars? Well, yeah. I knew what you meant, and there currently isn't one scheduled. That's the thing. So, but yeah, thank you guys for being here. A lot of other places you could be, a lot of other things you could be doing, but you're here, so appreciate you. Come back Tuesday for Punisher and Wednesday for the boys, and next Saturday for next week's news. And also hit all the buttons that apply. Much love, y'all. See you Tuesday. Bye. Quick outro. Well, you guys are the dopest, and never fucking forget it. Thank you for being here. Hope you had a good time. These streams are only good because of you guys. So thank you. And again, Tuesday, 9 o'clock, Punisher special. One last kill. And then the penultimate or second to last episode of The Boys on Wednesday. And then the week's nerdy news on Saturday. 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, in that order. Come on back for all of it. And of course, please hit the like if you haven't already. And if you're new, hit the sub and the bell. And also join the Discord. Link momentarily. There it is. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. And remember, wherever you're at and whoever you're with, always keep it nerdy. Much love, y'all.